I'm glad somebody finally said it because it needed to be said. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire and his controversial take about women not being best suited to cover masculine sports like football. Now, I agree with him 1,000% for a variety of reasons that I'll get to a little bit later. But of course, Matt Walsh and guys like myself and anyone else that says this will be attacked with, oh, you're a misogynist, you hate women, all this, that, and the third. When it's not even about that. It's about sending the best person who is suited for the job. Why would you send this young lady that he was speaking about in the video I'll get to in a minute? Why would you send her in this arena with a bunch of beer drinking masculine dude bros? Does that make any sense? I don't think so. But before I go any further into the rabbit hole, let's roll the clip. In this clip, you'll see and hear Matt Walsh talk about this particular thing and give an example of an event that happened recently. And I'll also show the clip of that example so you get that context. After we get done watching those two clips, I'll come back. I'll talk about what was said, what was done, what was shown there. Then I'll give you my 2 cents, my deep, detailed analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
It wouldn't be fair to say that all female sports reporters are like Lindsay. But even so, I must say, this situation only demonstrates why I personally prefer for sports broadcasts, especially football broadcasts, to be handled mostly by men. Lindsay, though worse than the average, even as far as female sports reporters go, is definitely not the only female to enter into this mostly male space and seek to feminize it. She wants the football stadium to be quiet and gentle, considerate, respectful of personal space. She wants it to be a more feminine environment. She's not trying to assimilate herself into the culture of football fans. She is rather hoping that they assimilate themselves to her. This is a problem across our culture. Sports just happen to be an area where the problem is especially pronounced and obvious. Females enter into areas that have typically catered and mostly belonged to men. And then, often quite successfully, they try to change them, to emasculate them, and thereby destroy the primary reason for their existence in the first place. This phenomenon is so far-reaching in football especially that they're even changing the rules now to make the game itself more gentle and feminine. Football is, still violent, but it's less violent than it used to be. This year, they're even focusing on penalizing players who say mean or rude things to each other on the football field. They've been doing this during the preseason in the NFL. All of this, along with the token female sideline reporters and the female analysts at halftime, it's an effort to make the game less appealing to the people the game was invented for to begin with.
Hello. Please don't touch me. Excuse you. Slugfest, and the Dogs ran away with it. A 10-3 win here at Vegas. How long do I have? Please don't touch my equipment. Please don't. How long do I have? I've got to move.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, I don't see the lie there. I don't see the lie. Again, someone may say that he's a misogynist. He is some other kind of obic ober-ist I don't even know about. Some kind of cisgender woman hater. I have no idea. They might even want to attack his sexuality, although he's married with kids. But that's a different story, and I digress. The point is that they want to attack the man over what he said. But what did he say that was false? If there was a man right there, that whole situation wouldn't have happened where she's kind of like ducking for cover. Like the way she was acting, it was like these guys were trying to attack her. Now, I'm not saying a guy can like just touch you or put his hand on your shoulder without your permission. I'm not saying that. But it's a football game. They're beer drinking. They're excited. They want to get in the camera and shout. It's what they do. Okay, that's what they do. Now, I saw another clip. If I can find it, I'll place it on the screen, maybe in the box. But there was a young man who was in the same situation at some kind of event. I'm not sure if it was a football game or what, but he was right in the mix of all the people and took it like a champ.
The former Gamecock quarterback who coached at him these last couple of years is making his debut as an assistant coach. But perhaps the biggest storyline is the fact that you have a former grad assistant coach, Seth Nolan, weighing under center tonight as the starting quarterback. Earlier in the week, we had a chance to be able to catch up with both Seth and Coach Beamer.
That's the way it's supposed to be. If you're going to put a camera right there, right in the concourse, with everybody coming by, you know they've been drinking, you know it's a football game, you know they're having a good time. Why would you expect them to just be like some kind of black tie gathering of senior citizens? Why would you expect that? It doesn't make any sense. And then to go a little bit deeper into the whole situation, this is part of the reason why, in my humble opinion at least, that football, even basketball, is kind of getting softer. Definitely football. Now, I don't mean softer as far as protecting the athletes. That's different. I don't think that, banning the helmet hits that unnecessarily concuss somebody and give them brain damage is necessarily softening the game up. But I think some things like, the gender inclusive language they might want to use, like some things that are just soft for no reason that do not relate to the gameplay on the field, but relate to trying to have a more inclusive audience. It's like, what are you doing? What's the majority of your audience? It's not LGBT, it's not women, it's 80, 90% conservative men. So why would you do things that are going to turn that base off to try and attract people that were never going to watch you anyway? Okay, how many LGBT and women really watch football? Like, is that really a thing? I'm not saying no women watch football, obviously. I'm not saying no LGBT watch football. But what's going to be the biggest block who watches football games, who attends football games, who spends the money? I mean, let's just keep it real. So when they do things like, okay, we're going to change the name of the Washington Redskins to the Washington football team or the Washington Red Wolves, it's like, nah, how about Redskins? How about we're not so soft to get offended at a name that a lot of these people who never watch football at all ever, writing think pieces on random blog sites, they're not going to watch it. How about we stop trying to cater to them and just do what we want to do? How about that? That's what I'm talking about when I refer to the softness that goes on. I'm not saying there's no place for women in sports, not at all, because there are some sports that are not as masculine and not as male, testosterone dominated like football is. Okay, if you want to send her out there to even report on golf, which is heavily male dominated, but it's not a contact sport at all. You could cover tennis or figure skating. There are some things where you're not going to be inundated with a bunch of drunk dude bros trying to get in the camera and wave to their mama and daddy and their kids at home. You see what I'm saying? It reminds me of when they send women to report on things in the Middle East. Not to make that comparison, but you understand kind of what I'm saying. It's like, why would you send them there? What point are you trying to prove? What are you trying to prove? There are certain spaces that are best suited for men, and there are certain spaces that are best suited for women. And when we try to kind of blur those lines, you're going to have problems. Just like the Wii Spot situation. You got this man talking about he identifies as a woman swinging this stuff around in front of young girls' faces. This is a space for women, not for men. You, sir, and your twig and berries need to go on the other side. You're in the wrong space. Once we start to just blur those lines and act like gender's not really your thing anymore, we begin to lose that battle. We begin to lose the battle and the war for ourselves. So let's just not do that, and let's do things that simply make sense. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what Matt Walsh said? Is he a sexist, a misogynist, or any other obic oberist? Is it correct, incorrect? Whatever your thoughts on that are, let me know in the comments below. You guys pretty much know where I stand. I think that there are certain spaces where men perform better, and there are certain spaces where women perform better. That's just reality. That's just nature. And when you try to ignore reality, when you try to ignore nature, you get some abnormal things that happen as a result. Okay, you get really weird things. Just like when I'm watching ESPN, if I am forced to watch it for a basketball game, and I see Rachel Nichols. Rachel Nichols, this, middle-aged soccer mom type lady talking about basketball. Why? And then she brings on her book club and her cashmere sweater knitting club to talk basketball. Why? Why can't I get some former NBA players to know the game that I grew up watching? Why can't I get Tracy McGrady and Scottie Pippen to talk about basketball? Why do I need this soccer mom on here? For what? The same reason why I don't need a young lady trying to hide behind a microphone and camera because some fans are coming through the concourse. Like, let's just do things that make sense rather than trying to do things that present us as woke and quote unquote inclusive. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.